On.
Do you go on vacations often? Me and my wife, we always love to travel. There are two ways of traveling. One, you go as a tourist who escapes the humdrums and the routine of the world. The other, you go as a traveler to go out there and experience the world, have fun, learn about it, and get inspired. Of course, ideally speaking, we should be able to go there and spend considerable amount of time and learn about the culture and all that, but it's not practical, especially with our 9 to 5 jobs. No, actually 9 to 7, at least in my case. You must be knowing about this Groupon and all these deals that are in place. One such Groupon that we stumbled upon last year was on a getaway to South Africa. We had very short time to decide. We ended up finalizing and took a quick decision, and last September we did go to Southern Africa. Coming back, I am a transformed person. Before going, typical tendency is to prepare, to learn about what's up and the history, geography, the culture and all that. That's in the general notion, right? Which is precisely what we were doing. But then to come back and to have seen some of the things that I have seen, I am a changed man. Being an Indian, cricket is in my DNA. Yes, I'm talking about that long game that they play for 5 days. I think some of the Vijay must be knowing about it. And South Africa, watching all the cricket matches there from a young age, that has been a fascination for me. And Cape Town was one such city that fascinated me in that way. But to go there and to experience something completely different was something never called for. To witness a breathtaking sunset across the Atlantic with various colors of hues of orange and red in Cape Town just makes you wonder, out here, sunset, which is a daily thing, how much we miss. We don't even pay attention to these regular things that happen in life. And next to a city like Cape Town, which is on the coast, you have a wonder of the world called Table Mountain. You have clouds and smoke on top of it. Legend goes that a pirate once challenged the devil in a pipe smoking contest, and they've been smoking ever since. That's why you see that. And to be on top of that and to see the Indian and Atlantic Oceans connect, it's a surreal experience. It makes you feel blissful and lucky. We all know about apartheid. You must all have read a lot about racial discrimination. Nelson Mandela, about him being locked up for 26 years in a cell in Robben Island, half the size of a kitchen in a typical apartment in downtown, and still maintain the sanity and come up with some policies like Truth and Reconciliation Act, something incredible. But to be able to meet a person who went through this, our tour guide Frank, who spoke about how he was a victim of racial discrimination, and he explained specifically a pencil test where they just place it through the hair, they determine the morphology, and then classify into white, black, or color. And so what might happen is, within the same family, just because of different hair textures, you might see three people ending up in 3 completely different groups. And they would be therefore as wise subject to emotionless brutality and violence, because if, as you know about what happened against the colored and the blacks. And those incidents, those scars of history, to learn, because this guy, Frank, during that time was in the prime of his youth, was a student, and to go through such things, to survive the scars of history, all the brutality, and still come out with all the resilience, and especially to do what Mandela proposed in this Truth and Reconciliation Act, to look at the eye of the person to whom you caused harm and to say, yes, I caused harm to your family. To do that, that was something which was mind-blowing, and it impacted me. That resilience is something to take on as a lesson, as an inspiration. When you say Africa, it's synonymous with safaris, wildlife, animals. But picture yourself in the savannas, in the grass, in the bush, and you have giraffes standing by admiring you when you're sipping a drink, on the jeep, an open jeep, and zebras walking by, and you have all kinds of species of animals, and then elephants, a whole herd of elephants surrounding you. It's a sight to behold, something that you can only experience. You might have read National Geographic, watched National Geographic, or read different things, but these things you have to experience in order to understand. Especially elephants, how smart they are with the way they use their trunks to take off the thorns from the prickly pear leaves and then eat. Small things like those makes you feel humbled, and it's like you start thinking you should learn a lot from animals and nature. It has so much to offer, and that influenced me. As was my following trip to Kruger National Park, which is 2.8 million acres, around 80% the size of Illinois. To be in the midst of Kruger, in Hamilton's tent, named after Hamilton, whom I've read previously, was a wildlife conservationist who sort of saw this coming, saw the civilization infringement, and ensured that he tried as much as he could to protect animals. To be able to stay in a tent and to watch out elephants drinking water from the water hole, especially a small 1-month-old, 2-month-old, cuddling with its mother, the maternal elephant. It is absolutely surreal, and this kind of experience you can only get in Africa, I think. And these things, and every day in Kruger is a surprise. You never know what you're going to see. You walk, one day you see honey badgers' footprints or lions' trails, and then you see nervous giraffes in the bush. Then you understand there's something going by, predators around. There's always this predator-prey dynamic. It's all living in the moment sort of thing. It's tantalizingly small blink of the moment sort of thing, and you see so much activity in events. So that inspires you to think you should live at the moment, be more current, present. And that's how that influenced me. But the other side of Africa was the charity and organizations where they abandoned kids were taken care of, and they also do as much as they can to help them, especially the way the disabled kids were being fed to, and the selflessness there, that came through, and that had an impact as well. In general, and our taxi driver, to sum it up, just said, if you haven't seen a village in Africa, you haven't seen the real Africa, especially with how much they had to drive 5 miles or walk 5 miles for just drinking water. What I just want to say is, travel when you're young. Don't wait till you have all the money, because at that point you might not have the health or the time or the enthusiasm. And this stop in the journey of mine, finding my inner self, really was something